Okay, so Destiny went over Hassan's video, and I've been watching a little bit of it, and it's just not very good. So let's get into it. Hopefully, I can make it a little bit bearable for my audience.
Would you? Those videos are on YouTube. They're on Twitter. It's a video that's hosted on YouTube and Twitter. It's not akin to ISIS, dumbass.
So just for context, Hassan right now is talking about that Hamas, or not Hamas, that Houthi music video that he watched, that he got kind of flagged for by Twitch, and that's a big reason that a lot of people have been coming for him, saying that he's playing pro-terrorist propaganda.
About a year or two ago, I was...
Oh, Houthi propaganda? If he promoted the Houthis and showed the video of a ship taken over. Oh, I don't know if you would get banned on YouTube for that. I'm not sure. The problem is that Twitch is supposed to have a more strict policy on promotion of terrorist stuff, which I'm like 40% sure that got added either because of me or because of one of my orbiters. I don't remember. I don't remember if we were the inspiration for.
So I'm just going to pause it here. Destiny does this a lot where he'll pause after Hassan makes a point and then just kind of talk around the point without actually addressing it, and he'll just talk in a way that makes the thing that Hassan said seem stupid without actually ever addressing it at all. And yeah, I don't watch a lot of Destiny, and I skimmed through this video, and it's just kind of surprising how little he spends actually addressing what Hassan has to say.
For that rule or not. I think that rule was added after we were banned. Did that come because of Dylan? I'm trying to remember where that rule came from, but you weren't allowed to show any videos now of like extremist content. Even if you weren't supporting it, you weren't allowed to show videos of it, let alone supporting it, right? That's like way over the line. But these were Twitch's rules, but I don't think that YouTube has those rules. X definitely doesn't. I don't know why Hassan brings up Twitter, but
about a year or two ago, I was actually assisting a couple smaller YouTubers who basically had memes.
There are literal neo-Nazis on YouTube. What the f are you talking about?
That's not responsive. There are neo-Nazis on YouTube. That's not responsive to anything. The question is, can you host the content? So that was stupid to say.
Apparently, some of them even, maybe not neo-Nazis, but some YouTubers even sit around and do reviews of child porn. Drawn child porn. Hentai.
Oh, he's talking about Lolicon.
Lolicon. That's how little YouTube gives a shit about their own terms of service.
Wait, is he saying that they show Lolicon on YouTube? I'm almost positive you'd get banned. He's talking about the Nooks Taco, whatever the fuck that guy's name is. I thought that Mudahar wasn't one of the people that were involved in that, though. Was he? And if he was, wasn't that like 10 years ago? And doesn't he say that people shouldn't? I don't even know what God, Hassan is like the king of, he's such a, oh God, he's so fucking annoying. Oh, he's so annoying. I love how he like pearl clutches over this shit. Oh my God, when he absolutely doesn't give a fuck.
Their own terms of service.
Nux showed Muda Lolicon recently. What, like Muda was drawing it or it was drawn of him? Was it on YouTube? Like he was streaming on YouTube of him like watching.
You know, Mudahar should know that. Seemingly, he participated in a review of Lolicon himself.
What is it? I don't know. Review of Lolicon. Like he was, like supporting it, or like.
Yeah, he's reviewing it. He didn't. That doesn't necessarily mean you show the footage or the content. He's reviewing it. I don't know why Destiny is so flabbergasted by what Hassan's saying. Hassan has said twice now, reviewing like illicit footage that is banned on YouTube, and they're reviewing it. So how is that supposedly allowed on YouTube? And I mean, it is kind of a dumb argument. I mean, you should kind of defend yourself, but Hassan's kind of just making the point right now that why are you coming after me when people are doing much worse things? And like that's at least a simple point to understand. Obviously, it's not an actual defense of Hassan. It's just pointing out that there are worse things happening. And I don't like, that's an extremely basic argument. That's just whataboutism, and Destiny isn't able to understand that for some reason.
Whatever. God, he's such a cringe loser.
Yeah, and he just calls him like a cringe loser. Yeah, I don't know. It really feels like Destiny has kind of gotten to this point where he can just call people stupid without actually making an argument to show why they're wrong. And his audience, he's like programmed his audience to a point where they're just like, oh, you called someone stupid, that's like the kill shot. It's kind of gives me vibes of like pro wrestling where it's like boop, boop. And you got like the snake hand now, and then the audience is like, oh my God, he's got the snake hand, he's gonna take him out, he's gonna do the kill shot on him, it's his super move.
Remember, you have a responsibility to shame the fuck out of any loser fuck friends in real life, okay, that watch or support this shit. Jesus Christ.
Okay, I'm just gonna fast forward this. Yeah, telling his audience to shame people that watch us on in real life. Extremely toxic community you're building up there, Destiny. Great job.
Destiny doesn't know the drama. I remember hearing a little bit about this, but wasn't it like
All right, I'm just gonna skip over this part where Destiny talks about the drama between an anime YouTuber and like illegal material that he was looking at
against this kind of attack. Mudahar streams from a boat.
When she was also raiding ships.
Good one, dude. Yeah, I know. Would that be a problem? Would that be a fucking problem, Mudahar? Why do you hate the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising?
Wait, wait. Is Mudahar saying there? Wait, wait, what? I'm so confused. Mudahar saying there aren't videos of or there's not like memoirs of Anne Frank being like a terrorist or like, you know, engaging in terrorism against the Nazis. And now Hassan saying, well, would that be a problem? My guess is going to be Mudahar would say no, that wouldn't be a problem, but that wasn't the claim. Did I misunderstand this? Hold on.
This is an out of context clip. If you wanted to find context, you could watch the actual video that either Mudahar or Hassan made reacting to Mudahar's video. Once again, I don't know why Destiny is so confused at what Hassan is saying when he's able to accurately dictate back what Hassan said. Hassan said, even if a victim of genocide was being a violent terrorist, that doesn't give them the excuse to genocide that person. And if Anne Frank was involved in violent resistance against the Nazis, that doesn't give the Nazis an excuse to genocide her. Same with Rashid al-Hadid, where he wasn't a violent terrorist against any kind of group, but even if he was, that shouldn't stop Hassan from interviewing him, and that shouldn't give people the justification to genocide him. That's a pretty, once again, an extremely simple concept that Destiny is able to kind of interpret and repeat back, and yet he doesn't understand it. And I think this lack of understanding, this like performative lack of understanding, is Destiny's way of signaling to his audience that Hassan is wrong without ever having to actually take the time to disprove what Hassan is saying. And we'll see he criticizes Hassan for something that is unrelated to what Hassan just said.
You know, where's that part of Anne Frank's diary when she was also raiding ships?
Good one, dude. Yeah, I know. Would that be a problem? Would that be a fucking problem, Mudahar?
No, I don't think anybody thinks that would be a problem.
Why do you hate the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising? Do you think that they shouldn't have done that?
Has Mudahar ever said that he hate? No, why am I asking these rhetorical questions? Is there like value in even reacting or watching shit like,
Oh man, the Nat Turner Rebellion really it was really messed up, dude. They really should not have done that. John Brown should not have done what he did.
All right, well, in that case, every single Palestinian that's been killed was a terrorist, right? Can we just say that? And then you're like, wait a second, what? And you go, well, what? Would it be a problem if they were? Don't we think they all have a right to fight back anyway? So they're all terrorists, and we just say that, right? Because they have a right to be terrorists. We'll just say they're all terrorists, right? Like, what is this logic? This is so stupid. Obviously stupid.
So that is very telling that, once again, Destiny doesn't actually have any valid criticism for Hassan. Let's just really break this down and be into very simple steps about what is happening here. Mudahar is saying that, oh yeah, it's bad to compare Anne Frank to this Yemeni teenager. And Hassan is calling him out on kind of this like Islamophobia that Mudahar is demonstrating, and he's calling him out on his bad logic where, okay, if they do violent actions, does that justify kind of extrajudicial killing of them? Does that justify genociding their entire people? And kind of saying that this person is bad no matter what. Like, once again, Hassan believes in justice systems that offer second chances to people, and he also believes in recognizing the material conditions that causes people to take extreme actions. And when you are living under an oppressive, like imperial power, that is going to cause you to take extreme actions. So, like, that should be factored into the justice that we mete out to people that do violent actions. Destiny sees this and he says, okay, well, then every person that died we can call a terrorist because you're saying that those actions are justified in the end. So you shouldn't be afraid of it. Which is not an actual, like, response to what Hasan is saying. And it's not actually saying anything himself. He's not pointing to a flaw in Hasan's logic. He's just flipping the logic around and trying to apply it to the situation to make the logic seem bad. But if you think about it for a minute, it doesn't make any sense. Hasan is basically saying, even if someone is a terrorist, you shouldn't kill them without any reason. And then Destiny's saying, well, all of these people Israel killed without any reason can then be called terrorists. Which that doesn't logically follow. That's like saying, well, all of these squares are technically rectangles. And then Destiny says, well, then all of these rectangles that we see, we can call them squares. It's not a logical, it's not a logical sentence to say. And it doesn't actually add anything to the conversation. Once again, he's just saying something that seems kind of extreme to make Hasan look dumb by kind of trying to mirror Hasan's words back at him in a way that sounds similar, but it doesn't mean the same thing whatsoever. And then the second thing is, like, what Destiny says, that's what Israel is doing. Israel has basically said every single person they've killed in Palestine has been a terrorist. So, once again, Destiny is like, he's kind of joking at the idea that terrorism is, like, calling someone a terrorist doesn't justify their death. He's kind of like trying to make fun of the idea that, you know, terrorist is just a designation we put on someone that is an enemy. And he's like, okay, well, then everyone that's dead we can call a terrorist, right? Because it's meaningless, right? So we should call them a terrorist and you shouldn't have an issue with it. And it's like, okay, yeah, fine, do whatever you want. It doesn't actually matter at all. Like, Israel's already calling them a terrorist. The United States is already calling them a terrorist. What does it matter if I call them a terrorist or not? What does it matter if you call them a terrorist or not? Even if, like, if you're agreeing that even if they're a terrorist, that doesn't warrant genocide against the people that they live with, then you shouldn't care about them being called a terrorist either. So, like, why would you even say it? So that's just like a very gross example of Destiny being pretty flippant in just trying to make Hasan look bad. And I think that's what Destiny's politics are. Just trying to make Hasan look bad at this point. It's just really embarrassing. So let's skip to the next Hasan clip that he
officially
goes over.
A part of the state-sponsored terrorism designation, according to the State Department, because the Biden administration had actually taken off the Ansar Allah movement from the state-sponsored terror. That, but also, even if he was a fucking card-carrying Houthi militant at the time, he was still not officially a part of the state-sponsored terrorism designation, according to the State Department, because the Biden administration had actually taken off the Ansar Allah movement from the state-sponsored terror designation. In 2021.
It's admitted that the Hunter Biden story was shut down by 51 intelligence officers, so at least 51 need to be in jail. No, it wasn't. That's not true. That decision was made. Twitter made the decision before that letter was published, and they republished the story before that letter.
Wouldn't have been me interviewing someone who's a card-carrying terrorist in that regard.
I love that he always shifts the narrative on this. Nobody cares that you interviewed the kid. That's fine. In fact, it's actually really cool that you interviewed him. The problem is that it was just, or if you would have interviewed him, the problem is that you were just circle jerking with him and agreeing with him the whole time. That's the issue. But he'll never, ever, ever address that.
So here we have Destiny actually giving some criticism that's actually aimed at what Hasan was saying. Hasan saying, people are really mad that I interviewed this person and he's not a terrorist. And then Destiny is saying, well, people aren't mad that you interviewed him. People are mad that you did like a softball interview with him and you were like joking around and stuff like that. Which, I mean, Hasan has said multiple times, if the guy actually had any kind of power and was involved in the Houthi organization, Hasan wouldn't have done that softball interview with him. He still would have done an interview with him. However, he would have actually pressed him on things and had it be a more serious tone and cover more serious subject matter than talking about One Piece or talking about what your dreams are going to be. Where if you're interviewing someone who did grow up in genocide and they've become this like giant social media sensation that no one really knows anything about, and then you ask them, are you part of this organization, or do you have any involvement in this, and they say no, like, what else are you going to do? He's literally a teenager. The only other thing you can do at that point, like, that is a dead end. Talking about the politics or talking about more serious matters, that's kind of a dead end because the guy closed it off. He's like, no, I'm not part of the Houthi organization. Even if he is and he's lying, at that point, like, just get to know him more. Like, you have no evidence that he is a part of that organization. And even if he is in that organization, like, he really has no power. So, I mean, it's not like he's a spokesperson for that organization and he's actually advocating for the Houthis to do violent acts upon other people. And seriously looks like he can give orders to these people. So, yeah, like, what is Hasan really going to do? And then Destiny's like, oh, well, you gave him a softball interview, and that's what people are mad at. I think people are mad at the idea that Hasan interviewed someone that is at least in the people that are racist against, like, Arab people, like Ethan Klein, like Lonerbox, like Destiny. They're mad at the idea that Hasan interviewed someone that they think is part of the Houthi organization. I mean, Ethan Klein literally said that in the interview, Rashid al-Haddad, who is the kid that Hasan interviewed, had the Houthi flag flying behind him in the interview. Like, that's how blindly hateful Ethan Klein is, where he's inserting these icons of Houthi propaganda in his memory about this kid. Like, he's like, oh yeah, he is a Houthi member, and he had the Houthi flag flying in the background behind him. And it's like, he's not a Houthi member, and the background behind him was a gray screen. So Ethan's just, like, inserting false memories due to his utter hatred of Hasan, which is just, it's shocking at this point.
How does Trump end up getting these hyper loyal and devoted people on the list? Looks at Biden. I don't know. But that would explain the high turnover rate, I guess. Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
You got Ethan Klein and Ben Shapiro.
Dude, this is so.
Oh no, not a tier list. Oh no. Oh no. I feel like Hassan has nightmares about tier lists. Like, anytime a streamer brings a tier list up, he must be like, oh fuck.
This is so desperate to be like, methinks this is anti-Semitism, sweetie. Like, if you look at the actual fucking tier list, like, Ben Shapiro is very famously anti-Arab, okay?
I like how Ben Shapiro is anti-Arab. I wonder if he's going to say why. It's going to be because of that one quote like 15 years ago. And that's enough to write off Ben Shapiro completely till the end of time as anti-Arab. I wonder if he's going to bring it up. Ben Shapiro tweeted out something like Arabs only build trash or something, or Israelis build cities and Arabs build trash or have trash, something like that. Wait, hold on. Somebody links it. Israelis like to...
I mean, just one more example of Ben Shapiro being anti-Arab is he says he lauds the idea that Israel is carrying out a genocide, like, a few months ago. So about a year into the genocide, he said he loves the fact that Israel is committing a genocide. So that's also pretty anti-Arab, I would say. And yes, this is a very mask-off tweet that Ben Shapiro made. Israelis like to build, Arabs like to bomb crap and live in open sewage. This is not a difficult issue. Hashtag settlements rock. So yes, he is in favor of the settlements. He is in favor of apartheid. He is in favor of Jewish supremacy, at least in the idea of Israel, like, at least in the idea of comparing Israelis to Jews. Yes, and I don't think it is much of a stretch to say he is anti-Arab.
Build, Arabs like to bomb crap and live in open sewage. This is not a difficult issue. That's enough for him to write off Ben Shapiro's anti-Arab for the rest of his life. But all the totality of all these things are not enough to even question.
Semitism, sweetie. Like, if you look at the
Wait, the totality of these things is not enough to even question? I don't really know what Destiny was trying to say there. Let's rewind it a little bit.
Semitism, sweetie. Like, if you look at the actual fucking tier list, like, Ben Shapiro is very famously anti-Arab, okay?
I like how Ben Shapiro is anti-Arab. I wonder if he's going to say why. It's going to be because of that one quote like 15 years ago. And that's enough to write off Ben Shapiro completely till the end of time as anti-Arab. I wonder if he's going to bring it up. Ben Shapiro tweeted out something like Arabs only build trash or something, or Israelis build cities and Arabs build trash or have trash, something like that. Wait, hold on. Somebody links it. Israelis like to build, Arabs like to bomb crap and live in open sewage. This is not a difficult issue. That's enough for him to write off Ben Shapiro's anti-Arab for the rest of his life. But all the totality of all these things are not enough to even question.
Semitism, sweetie.
So I wonder if the context there is he's trying to, if Destiny's trying to say the totality of stuff like Frogan, the totality of the things Frogan does, and people like her, like Matt Lieb, the totality of what they do is not enough for Hasan to question their anti-Semitism. which, like, you know, it's not just that one tweet that Ben Shapiro made. He does have a history of being pretty brutal against Arabs, especially when Israel is concerned. Like, it's kind of undeniable. He's a white supremacist, and when you are also a Zionist, that kind of is definitive that you hate Arabs at that point. Well, let's just continue this. But yeah, Ben Shapiro is Arab, or he hates Arabs. And Ethan Klein, he's not a huge fan. Like, so the thing with Ethan Klein is I don't think he hates Arabs like Ben Shapiro does, like Lonerbox does, like Destiny does. But I do think that Ethan Klein really enjoys the apartheid that Israel's doing, which is kind of inherently anti-Arab because that kind of necessitates the violence that Israel does to the surrounding Arab countries.
Like, if you look at the actual fucking tier list, like Ben Shapiro is very famously anti-Arab, okay? Ethan Klein not as famously, okay?
Kind of funny that Destiny's kind of defending Ben Shapiro here.
Damn, Ethan Klein is anti-Arab now. Damn. Oh no. Am I crazy in saying that Ethan Klein would have an easier time as passing as non-white than Hassan would? Like, if they were to go to an area and you're like, one of these guys is like of Middle Eastern descent, I'm pretty sure Ethan Klein would be ID'd as, but whatever.
If you look at the actual tier list, there are friends of, you know, Frogan and many others on the fucking tier list.
Love Sabra. Now, Sabra apparently in their eyes is like they're referring to like a brand of hummus that exists in Israel. That
It exists in America. I don't even know if it exists in Israel. I mean, I assume it exists.
Yeah, so Sabra hummus is not sold in Israel. It's mainly sold in the United States and Canada, but it does donate a lot to Israel. So, which is why people have been targeting it as part of the boycott, divestment, and sanction campaign to kind of limit the amount of funds that Israel can collect.
In Israel as well as in occupied territory, it funds the IDF. But also besides that, that's been a long-standing part of BDS efforts.
Is Sabra produced by like the state of Israel? Is that true?
Okay, I'm just gonna skip this. Destiny doesn't really do.
And on the bottom are, depending on the range of, I guess, anti-black sentiment that they demonstrate, the tier list bottom would be listed as F tier, raisins and potato salad. That's it. They would clearly say that'd be anti-white racism, yeah, and everyone would fucking laugh at them. The only difference in this circumstance is that anti-Semitism is a real bigotry. So you get more mileage when you fucking cynically smear people as anti-Semites, because anti-Semitism is a real valid bigotry. Anti-white racism, no matter how much certain white identitarians online cry about it, it does not read by normal people as a real fucking valid bigotry.
is basically
God, I love black people. Thank God for black people. What would we do? What would us white people do without having you guys to compare things to everything? Fuck, I should have done that for my Thanksgiving. Thank you for black people.
Okay, so I just want to make a comment. We're 18 minutes into this video. Destiny's reacted to, I think, like 3 or 4 different Hasan clips. And the only substantive point that he's made is that Hasan wasn't criticized for interviewing the Yemeni teenager. He was criticized for kind of yucking it up with the Yemeni teenager. That's the only substantial point that Destiny's made this entire time. Other than that, he's just kind of mocked Hassan or said, oh, he's so cringy, he's so stupid. Like, I can't believe we're watching this.
When I need to compare a bad situation, I can always say, this is like slavery. Or when I need to talk about like racism, or when I need to talk about like socioeconomic issues or like generational trauma or anything, I always have black people. Thank God. Thank you, black people. Thank you. No, stop. Hold on. Sorry. Thank you, African Americans. Not the immigrants. Fuck you. Okay. Thank you, African Americans.
Allowing for it, because at the end of the day, and this is not uncommon, it's not just him, but you know, the value of human life here goes far in favor of the loves Sabra category, if you know what I mean. Like, for him specifically, it's like, you know, it's Jews are the more worthy of the land, you know.
I don't understand what he means. Wait, so then is it not just about Sabra, or what? Am I going insane, or is every person going against Ethan thinking he's some sort of Jewish supremacist? Yeah, it's so crazy. Again, Ethan has like the most cucked position on Palestine, on Israel-Palestine, and he still gets labeled as a fucking Nazi. It's actually unreal. I don't even know if Ethan knows all of the correct like super Zionist memes. Like I could LARP. I know, because now I know enough of the history and the culture to LARP as like a super ultra Zion. I don't even know if Ethan Klein could LARP as a super pro Zionist person. I don't know if he knows enough to do it, and he still gets labeled.
Yeah, and then you'd put fucking Candace Owens on the bottom of the F tier in that situation.
in part of a boycott. Now, Sabra also
Once again, like, no actual engagement in what was being said there. I mean, these clips are getting taken out of context. Destiny's just playing with them and then being like making noises at them that don't mean anything. He's just like, oh, well, Ethan Klein's a Zionist now. Isn't that funny? Oh, wait, it's not about Sabra hummus? I'm so confused. What are we doing here? So just once again with the tier list is about how much people identify with Arab culture. A lot of people that are living in Israel hate Arabs. I mean, especially Palestinians. They hate Arabs, and I know there's a lot of like Arab Jews, and there are Arab non-Jewish people that are living there, but there's also a lot of white people, and white culture has been very pervasive in Israel. And the identification more with the West, more with white countries, like white majority countries, and a general disdain for brown countries is a view that is pervasive in Israel. So they do hate Jewish people. And so when you talk about how Sabra, like someone who enjoys Sabra hummus is someone that can least identify with Arab culture, because Sabra hummus is kind of like a white bastardization of hummus. It's the white version of hummus. That is kind of synonymous with someone who is like kind of racist against Arab people. That is the idea. So when people say, oh, well, gotcha, you said it was just about hummus, but now you're saying it's about like Jewish supremacists and people that hate Arabs. What is it? Is it about people that hate Arabs, or is it about hummus? It's essentially the same thing. So it's not a gotcha. Destiny doesn't have any actual kind of analysis with this. He's just like, oh, Ethan Klein he's a Zionist supremacist now? What? Oh, wow, what is this world coming to? He doesn't even have a good position on Israel. Yeah, Destiny's not saying anything. But we only have about 30 seconds left before Destiny kind of rage quits this Hassan thread that he's been going over.
It translates to Israeli Jew or Jew born in Israel. So realistically, if we're gonna use the terminology that these people politically like to use, this is what we consider a dog whistle, okay? Because
yeah, dude, that's what they were implying on doing. Which, by the way, I didn't fucking know either, for the record. And Frogan says she didn't know either. I believe her. There's one of the tier list makers is Jewish himself, but that's besides the point. That he must be a self-hating Jew, right?
Oh, the Jewish friend, like Lonerbox is a self-hating Arab or Lebanese person. I don't even know what they consider him. I don't even know what Lebanese people are considered, to be fair.
in reality, this is what they're actually going for. I mean, the thumbnail.
It also was loves Sabra. Loves Sabra. It grammatically does not make sense if it was loves a Jewish person born in Israel.
I showed you.
I can't. I'm good. Hold on. I need to hear that defense again. I'm sorry.
And again,
It grammatically does not Jew, right?
in reality, this is what they're actually going for. I mean, the thumbnail.
It also was loves Sabra. Loves Sabra. It grammatically does not make sense if it was loves a Jewish person born in Israel.
I showed.
I can't. I'm done. I'm sorry. I can't.
Well, folks,
Okay, yeah, so Destiny doesn't say anything there. Mujahar, whatever the fuck that guy's name is saying Love Sabra is a dog whistle. I mean, Sabra Hummus is an Israeli-based company that sells in North America and Canada. Once again, it does have very intricate ties to Israel. And yeah, Mutar saying that that's a dog whistle for Jewish people when it is kind of comical, right? That's what Ethan Klein did too. And Destiny's like, oh, well, I mean, they put non-Jewish people in the bottom tier and then they put Jewish people in the top tier because there are Arab Jews. And there are also non-Jewish people that do hate Arabs, that are Zionists, and that do want to kind of eliminate Arabs altogether. And Destiny's like, oh, well, if you say there's a Jewish person, you're just talking about them as a Jewish friend. Just like, I guess if Lonerbox says a genocide isn't happening, people can point to him and say he's an Arab and he's saying that the genocide isn't happening. So how can it be anti-Arab to defend Israel when we have an Arab person here? That's essentially what Destiny's trying to say. I mean, once again, you can just look at the actual reasons that people ranked people in that way. There's Jewish people at the top, there's non-Jewish people at the bottom. It's basically Zionism. I don't really need to explain this that much anymore. And Destiny just like laughs at it. So yeah, Destiny doesn't really have anything to say in this video, which, am I really surprised? I don't think so.